Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It's time for Taroscopes again, and we're going to do the Taroscope for the Earth sign of Virgo. And so before we do that, I'd like to just talk a little bit about the astrology of December. December is a very astrologically active month, starting with Neptune, the planet of source energy, a planet associated sometimes with confusion and delusion, but also spirituality and the dissolution of boundaries, the dissolution of those things that separate us. We think that we are separate, and we think that we can. Um, be individuals, but we also have to take into consideration that we are sharing this planet not just with other humans, but other species as well. And that's all the Neptune energy. It is changing direction, going direct. Usually, when those transpersonal planets change direction and whether going retrograde or direct, there can usually be some sort of big either earth event or situation or something comes to a head. But Neptune is very subtle, and so that is probably true. Something will come to a head, but it may be more subtle than not, or it could be like a tidal wave. So Neptune is mass consciousness as well, and so there is this energy of swell of energy coming up. And I think it's important for us to understand um, the reason for the swell, the reason, not necessarily the positions that people take, um, but the reasons for the shift. I think that's really important, getting down to the bottom of things. And for you, Virgo, Neptune has been in your house of relationship now since 2011. And so it's difficult really to pin your relationships down. It's difficult to get um, um, guarantees within your relationships. And so it can be very challenging for you, and it has been challenging. And this shift um, of Neptune moving direct. Now, Neptune is at 21 degrees of Pisces, so it has gone through 2/3 of Pisces. And so now it's going through the last third of Pisces, and Neptune spends about 14 years. And so we'll be out of Pisces by, I think, 2025 or 2026. So we still have quite a bit more work to do in our relationships to others for, for Virgo. We also have a new moon solar eclipse occurring on the 4th of December. That is in the sign of Sagittarius. Virgo, Sagittarius, for you, Virgo, Sagittarius is your fourth house of home. And so, family, clan, um, the past to a certain extent. So it's an emotional house. It's the first water house in astrology, and so it deals with some deep feelings. And we do have a new moon, which is generally an energy of newness, something beginning. But because we're dealing with an eclipse, that new moon is occurring at the south node of the moon, so the south node of its own moon, and that requires a let go. And so it's very possible that you may actually lose somebody in your family that you are very connected to, that has meant something deeply emotional to you. So that's something to consider. And normally I wouldn't say that, except that it is an eclipse. And so eclipses open doorways. And so somebody could pass over to another realm of life through this period, connected to you and connected to your family. So that's a possibility with that. Um, we have the second week, excuse me. Sorry. How very Virgo of me. Goodness gracious, I sneezed. I'm fine. I'll go have a cup of tea after this. You Virgos, I don't want you to get nervous. That's something's that something's wrong that you have to fix. Don't worry about it. Um, I'm sorry. We also have the full moon, right? The full moon is happening, and that full moon is happening in the axis, your 10th, your fourth house. The moon, the sun will be in your fourth house. The moon will be in your 10th house. And so you're focusing on issues around um, parenting, how you were parented, perhaps, how you are parenting. We could have gender issues here. We can have realizations around gender fluidity. Who do you resonate with? What is it, experientially? Um, so this is a time when something can be illuminated in those areas of life for you. Um, we have um, we have the sun moving into Capricorn. Now that's interesting because the sun moves into Capricorn, moving into your fifth house of creative self-expression and fun, um, and children. And so this is a time when you will, and of course when the sun moves into Capricorn is right around the holidays, right? And so this is when you're with your family, and this is a time of, in a way, I think for Virgos, a time of great joy. um, I think they like getting together, pitching in, helping the family. There's a certain amount of joy that comes from that. Um, and oftentimes Virgos are the people who the family depends upon. It's like the Virgo will do it, and the Virgo, loves you generally does it out of a deep need to serve. So you can have that service orientation as the sun moves that through that house. Um, and also creative self-expression will be very important at the time. So you can find yourself being working harder in the area of creativity, because you guys are always working hard, but it's like you're not always working on your own projects. Very often you're working on other people's projects. This is an opportunity for you to work on your projects, and that opportunity moves into January as well, because the sun is um, in Capricorn for the most of the time in January, so that energy will continue for you. We do have Venus going retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. Now, Venus is what you value and what's important to you, and retrograde is a reconsideration. It is for you, it is the fifth house. So you could be reconsidering something around your children. You could be reconsidering something around um, love or romance. You could be considering romance. Maybe you haven't considered it in a while, or maybe you have been dating somebody, and you want to maybe make things a little bit more permanent. Um, that is not going to happen like that. Really, what it's about for you is to reconsider that and to think about it, and really, think about, if a commitment is so important to me, how does it change my relationship with the person I'm with? So those are some other considerations that you can make, because dating and bringing the relationship to the next level is very different. Take it from me, it's very different. Um, so that Venus retrograde period, and that goes all the way to the to 29th of January. So Venus retrograde about 40 days. So you don't have to make any rush judgments or anything, but there's a lot of reconsideration with that. And also a reconsideration around how important work is to you. Now, work is important to all Virgos, because Virgos like to work. They're kind of the workhorses of the zodiac. The question is, are you doing the work that fulfills you the most? Right? That's the question. And perhaps that time with the sun moving through Capricorn will help you to focus on your own creative input. And if maybe that's more important for you than not, than otherwise. Jupiter at the end of the month is going to move into that seventh house. You know, you've had a lot of confusion in that seventh house, as I said in the beginning, because Neptune has been there since 2011. But now that Jupiter kind of moves into Pisces again, um, and stays there for about, I think it's in there for another 6 months. So for 6 months, it's going to be in that house. And I think what it's going to do is it's going to bring around a lot of lessons that you've learned through your last 2011 to 10 years. 10 years. So this 10-year period that there's been a lot of lessons in. And I think they're going to sort of come to you, um, and how that has informed you, and has it affected you, and you know, perhaps how you want to relate to others, perhaps in a different way, instead of the old way. Okay, so there's that. All right, so that's the astrology. I think that's what I want to say about that. We're going to be doing card reading. I'm going to use the Thoth deck for Virgo. You guys are certainly strong enough to deal with the Thoth deck. And then I will be using the Mystical Shaman Oracle for Virgo. So I'm just going to shuffle these. I have actually shuffled these. These big cards are difficult to shuffle sometimes. I don't have a big enough table that I'm working on, and so it is a little challenging to shuffle these big decks without having them all end up on the floor, which is what they usually do, and then I curse. So I'm trying to avoid that. So I can monetize this. I want to be cursing. All right. I just finished shuffling. Now I'm cutting. Okay. All right. Let's see what's up for Virgo. Virgo rising, Virgo sun, and Virgo moon. Ooh, now this is very interesting. This is the Princess of Wands as the immediate environment. The Princess of Wands, or the Page of Wands, is a fiery spiritual energy, but it is a page, right, or a princess. It is associated on the Tree of Life with Malkuth. Malkuth is Earth, and this Princess of Wands, this Page of Wands, symbolizes the spirit that lies within matter, and it comes up through our creativity, right? Our creativity, our ability to create and co-create with spirit, or just create in general, comes from the fire that's within us. And we do have that Venus retrograde in that fiery fifth house, you know, reconsidering the um, your creative spark. Like, how are you spending your time? You know, what fills your time? Is it fulfilling? Is it giving you the creative outlet that you need? Because, you know, Virgo will always go to that, you know, tried and true. Virgo will do the work. You know, sometimes you have to learn how to say no, so you have space for this creativity because it's right there. And so the challenges change. The challenges change. Now, you are a mutable sign, so you do know how to change. But, you know, you also oftentimes deal with a lot of systems, like system analysis and system maintenance, and, you know, making sure that everything is running smoothly. And, you know, I want to tell you a story about a friend of mine who's a Virgo. She had a lot of Virgo in her chart. I think maybe 3 planets in Virgo. And she would always get hired in these companies that were dissolving, that were going from like being a company to not being a company. She almost was like a hospice nurse for organizations and companies. I mean, she just seemed to be doing that all the time. And so the challenge is the fact that, you know, you're putting your energy into something that eventually dissolves away, right? Dissolves away, that mutability. So there's a change of energy, and that's the challenge. Like, how do you keep that fiery spark together through all the changes that you're going through? all the changes. Let's see what's at the root here. This is the debauchery card. It's the Seven of Cups. This can be an addiction card. So my question to you is, what are you addicted to? What are you addicted to? Are you addicted to a pat on the back from a superior? Are you addicted to food? Are you addicted to information? Are you addicted to your computer? What is it? What is it that's taking that you could be overdoing? And very often for Virgo, it's work. Work can be your drug. And so this is something that you have to look at. You have to see if, yes, in fact, my addiction to, or beyond that, crisis. Virgo can bring a lot of crisis into their life because they're very good at crisis. And so they're needed. Virgos are, when things are in crisis, Virgos are needed. And sometimes Virgos will create the crisis in order to feel needed. So be aware of that as something not everybody talks about with Virgo, but certainly it was a big theme for Jeff Green, um, the evolutionary astrology. So it is something that I have certainly seen in Virgos that I know. So so you have to really decide what it is that is not allowing you to manifest the satisfaction within your own life. Let's see what's in the past. Ah, the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands. So I almost feel like you might have had a situation this could be a distant past, this could be an immediate past, where you came into contact with the Queen of Wands, right? The Queen is the sustainer of the flame. It kind of like Vesta in, kept the fire burning. She has that energy, focus and concentration and creativity. And this could even be a past beyond this life where you remember being connected to this part of yourself. You're this part of yourself. Um, it can be a mother figure, a powerful mother figure in the past. But in a way, that interaction with whatever that was, or whoever that was, maybe lit a fire in you. Maybe lit a fire in you. And that's the fire that's burning with um, the Princess of Wands. Let's see what's in the sky. The Five of Swords, defeat. So, what I feel about this card, this is really unfair tactics. This is unfair tactics. It's possible that you have done that, and that the other side of that could be coming to you. So be aware that could be the case. My feeling, though, as I do these readings, and I don't know, can't say I know everybody who watches them, but I have a sense about who resonates to my energy. And I feel as though this Five of Swords is really actually has more to do with somebody who has not been doing things correctly will be revealed. That's what it feels like to me. So I don't feel like it's necessarily you've done something um, unfair, uh, but that somebody who has done that can be revealed. Also be aware that there are people out there like that. That could also be. Not everybody is as well intentioned as you are. Immediate future, the Tower. So awakening, something, you are going to be awakened to something. I did the Taurus reading. This was the outcome for the Taurus reading. So we are definitely, something is definitely something is definitely coming to light, a realization that will likely rock your world in some way. And so, um, if there's something that you are using to numb so you don't have to feel something, or you don't have to deal with something, the tower will make you deal with it. The tower will illuminate you. The tower will get things moving, for sure. Actually, the tower is associated with Mars, and Mars is in moves into Sag in December, so it's in Scorpio. So for you, it's your third house, and then it moves into Sag, which is your fourth house again, family. So there could be a realization around family here. Um, and it very well may be, and this just came to me, that addiction within your family has, in some ways, dimmed your fire. And so the revelation that comes through that, the realization, the truth that comes from that may actually help to free you from that. How it's seen from by other people. I the first thing that came to me when I looked at this Prince of Swords cards is that you're going to say no to somebody and people aren't going to like it because they're used to you saying yes. That's what it seems like to me. So people are going to be like, what's up with her? What's up with him? They actually said no to that? They never say no, like stuff like that. So that's how other people are going to be experiencing you. And how are you going to be experiencing your life, your domestic situation? The Magnus, taking your power back. Taking your power back, creating your world. Wow, that's powerful. Hopes and fears, science. I think this is a hope for you, Virgos. Um, this energy is like when everything comes together into a point, to the heart of the matter, perhaps. This is also moving out of troubled waters. So there's this possible, like, I just visualize you being somebody who has had to dance around their life because of somebody else's music. And you've had to pussyfoot around and you've had to do things that, skirt around issues, and finally, whatever it is that occurs breaks that open, and you no longer have to do that because you're not playing by somebody else's rule, that somebody else's tyrannical rule. The outcome, we have the Queen of Discs, which is a beautiful card because the Queen is the sustainer of the element. She understands earthly things. She's very stable. She's very powerful. She's very abundant. She knows the value of things. And perhaps what comes out of this is that you finally understand the value of yourself. You understand what other people have known all along, that you're invaluable. But if you let them poop on you, they will. And just picking a card, see if we can get a major arcana, is the Hermit. So this is the Virgo card. This is wisdom. The power of one, as Ellie from Down Under says. The power of one. The power of your knowledge. You get to express yourself. You get to share the knowledge that you have for yourself, for your own benefit, and not always just being a cog in the wheel of a larger system. Oh my God, these cards, I can't believe them. Underneath it all, peace. Peace of mind. My goodness, what is that like, Virgo? Victory. Victory. And the sun. Shining like the star you are. That's it, Virgo. This is the month this is the month that it all cracks open for you. And that little flame that you've been kindling all this time has an opportunity to become something much bigger. That's going to be much more fulfilling for you. So, very, very exciting cards. Now I'm going to pick an oracle card. This is the Mystical. Sorry, I know my volume sucks on this this video thing. Sorry. Oop, can I say sucks? Anyway, um, Mystical Shaman Oracle. This is the oracle I'm using for all my earth signs this month. I might use it for all signs, actually. I don't know yet. We'll just see. I'm doing earth first. In honor of Venus and Capricorn going retrograde this month. All right. Let's see now. This is for Virgo, Virgo rising, Virgo sun, Virgo moon. Okay. The Andean cross. The Andean cross. You know, crosses are always about crossroads. You know, coming to a fork in the road or a cross in the road and deciding what direction you're going to go in. This is number 2. So let me open this. I'm going to read right from the book. These cards are really quite beautiful. And they say it better than I ever could, so I'm just going to read it to you. It says, the Andean cross represents the cosmology of the shaman. It depicts the 4 cardinal directions, upper and lower worlds, the steps to reach these realms. The hole in the center is the gateway to interdimensional travel. The proverbial eye of the needle we all go through to experience higher states of awareness and wisdom and to break free of linear time. To break free of linear time. Very interesting. The invitation. The Andean cross announces the start of a great journey. It's time to raise your gaze from the mundane day to day to which until now has seemed beyond your grasp. Allow new wisdom to guide you and stop trying to make sense of it all before you respond with a resounding yes. The medicine. The time has passed and the window of opportunity has closed. Now is not the moment to take the leap you have been over preparing for. It is best to wait until conditions in heaven line up again to offer you a more propitious moment. Propitious, yes. Any bold action you take now will require tremendous effort on your part. Just as important as knowing when to act, knowing when to return to your inner stillness and wait for more favorable times. So it's up to you. I mean, there's no, excuse me. Oops, sorry. It's very Piscean, isn't it? Here we go. Okay, sorry. Yes. You know, it is up to you. If you're not taking a leap, um, there will be another opportunity to take a leap. But with the tower, um, you're going to be moving. You're going to be leaping out of something into something, over something. There is change. There is change coming, guys, and it's time for you to start appreciating yourself um, as much as others at least know your value, even if they don't necessarily always appreciate you. Okay, guys, have yourself a great December. Um, I will see you again in January of 2022. As always, much love. And have a great holiday season. And if you're interested in a reading, I am going to be raising my prices at the beginning of the year. Not very much, just a little bit, because costs have risen. Everything, right? Everything goes up, everything goes down together. Um, so if you're interested, you can get a reading for next year if you'd rather wait till next year for this year's prices. So theseedsoftransformation.com. Much love, everyone. Namaste.